There is nothing keeping you from the life you want except for you. Let me explain. If you're not happy with the life you have to define the life you want. The only problem is many of us can't define the life that we want. It's not that simple because we tend to be around people who don't really have the life that we want. The people that we're around tend to actually limit our view of what's possible in life. But the good news is you have the internet, and so do I, which means that you can go out and find the person who has the exact life that you want or close to it, and you can start to emulate what that person does and begin to have the kind of life you want because you're able to just see what it looks like. At no time in human history have we had such immediate, ubiquitous, real-time access to high-achieving people in our niches that we can just study. We can learn what they know. We can see what they do. We can begin to believe what they believe if we define exactly what they want and they're living that life. In this video, I'm going to talk about the process that it takes to get from where you are, if you are living the life you don't really want, or you have the business that you don't really want, or if you're on this channel, it's probably because at some point you said, I want to make money online, I just need to know how to do it. But you get a little bit confused, you get a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe the people that you hang out with, they're not really thinking about this kind of stuff, and you want something more. In this video, I'm going to give you an exact framework to how to get from where you are, define the type of life you want, find the person who's living it, and see what they do and begin to copy it. It's kind of a cheat code in life. Like, just copy what someone else is doing. Don't try to be them. Try to emulate certain things that they're doing, certain ways that they think, and certain things that they believe. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get into all that in this video. My name is Lane. This is the Six Figure Fast Lane, which is a newsletter. Even though you're reading it, this is actually a newsletter over at my website, lanesebring.com. You can subscribe to that newsletter and get my free, super simple guide to your first $500 online. That is my free gift to you, which is going to guide you through the process of starting an online business or just making some side money online, the exact steps you need to take to make that first 500 bucks. Because I think if you can make that first 500 bucks, you can make the rest of it. You can make the next 500,000 bucks. lanesebring.com/super simple. Go there. That'll subscribe you to the newsletter and you'll get the free guide. When I was first interested in making money online, an online business, I used to scour YouTube to try to find who is doing this well. And I would watch for literally hundreds of hours a month. I spent so much time watching as many people as I could. And sometimes I'd go down a path and figure out like, okay, I don't really like this. I'm not going to do fulfillment by Amazon. It's cool for those people, but it's not really my thing. I'd go over here and I'd be like, oh, okay, I like drop shipping in terms of the idea, but I don't think I want to do it. It's not really my thing. And then I found online course businesses and I thought, wow, could I do that? Is that something that, and it really started to resonate with me, my personality, how I function, and it fit into something that I was already doing. I already had an online brand. It just wasn't a business, and I converted it into an online course style business, and that business is called Preaching Donkey, and I learned how to make a business out of that, and now I teach other people how to do it. But my point is, it all started with me searching for someone, for people who were further along than me. And so I didn't have the life I wanted, and particularly I didn't have the kind of business. I wasn't making the money that I wanted. I'll just be honest with you. I was a pastor at the time. I wasn't making very much money. Life is very expensive. I have a lot of kids and a golden retriever right there. I needed to make more money and I just didn't have it. And so I went online looking for that. And what I found is that I actually went through a process, a framework of really sifting through the noise of who is just trying to make money from a grift online and who is actually trying to help. There's a whole lot there that you have to sift through. And then I had to figure out, well, what resonates with me? And I had to really define, what do I actually want? So what I want to do is I want to actually walk you through the exact process that I went through during those 4 or 5 years, the last 4 or 5 years that this took place, and give you kind of a shortcut, a cheat code to see like, how do you actually go about defining the life you want, figuring out who's living that life, and then really studying that person to get what you want. So we're going to dive into that right now. There are 3 steps. First, Define the life you want. This is really important. You have to kind of know what it is that you're going for in life. Like, what kind of life are you trying to achieve? So many people will skip over this step and they'll say something like, "Oh, I just want to make a lot of money." And I totally get that. Money opens up a lot of possibilities in life, and money makes things easier. If you don't believe me, try getting sick with money, try getting sick without money. All right, I won't belabor this point, but people who say money doesn't matter, they've never been sick without money. They've never not had health care. They've never starved. They've never been food. Like, you need a certain amount of money. And so I get the idea of just, well, I'll define it once I have the money. The problem with that is it starts to not be compelling enough once you start making money. Once you start making a little bit of money and you're comfortable, the money isn't the motivator anymore. You have to have something else that's driving it. So it's okay to have that included. It just can't be the only thing. So what I want to do is I want to give you some questions written right from my nifty newsletter that you can subscribe to over at lanesebring.com/supersimple. But this will help you define the life that you want. And for our purposes, I'm going to ask questions that relate to online business, but you could do this in any area of life. What I'm trying to show is that I'm asking questions to define what I want. And in this area, I'm talking about online business. So here's some questions to ask to help you define the kind of life you want as it relates to your online business. How much do I want my online business to make? All right. So it's not merely about the money, but that is an important question. For me, right now, that's 1.2 million a year. That's what I'm going for. Now, why 1.2 million? It's because that is a 6-figure per month pace, $100,000 a month. So when I talk about 6-figure fast lane, I hit 6 figures a long time ago. I hit multiple 6 figures this year, 2023. And now I'm moving on to 7 figures, but I'm still going to talk about the 6-figure fast lane because I'm talking about 6 figures a month, $100,000 a month. Now, wherever you are on that journey, I think getting to 6 figures a year, awesome. Go down that path. If you're trying to get to multiple 6 figures, awesome. If you're trying to get to 7, I haven't even been there yet, but I'm gonna do that. That's my goal. All right. Hopefully this year. So 1.2 million. Why do I want to make that amount of money? Well, for me, there's a lot of reasons. There's a whole lot of reasons why I want to make that amount of money. You have to decide for you. I've talked about this in a video that I did recently called Why I Want to Make as Much Money as Possible. You can see that. A lot of it has to do with lifestyle. A lot of it has to do with generosity. How many days or hours a week do I want to work? This is why this is important, because if you define how many hours and days a week that you want to work, and it's something like, for me, for example, I want to work 3 or 4 days a week, 6 or 7 hours a day. If you're doing the math, 6 hours a day times 3 days a week, that's 18 hours on the very low end. If I did 7 hours a day times 4 days a week, that's 28 hours on the very high end. So somewhere between 18 to 28 hours a week is what I want to work. And that's basically what I do now. Sometimes I will work a 5-day week, but I don't like it. Now, here's why this is important. I'm not going to go find somebody like Gary Vee and say, he's the kind of person that I'm going to learn from. He's the kind of person that I'm going to emulate. He's the definition of my success. I love Gary Vee. He's awesome. But he also says work until your eyes bleed. So he's not the guy for me. Great guy, awesome business coach, might be amazing for you. But for me, because I've defined what I want, he's not living the life that I want. So I'm not going to emulate him. How many weeks or months per year do you want to take off? For me, that's about 3 months a year, which is what I currently do. I do a lot in the summer. I do a lot usually in December, although not this December. It's been pretty busy, but I will take the last week off. But I do a whole lot of time off. And so I want to find someone who's able to run an online business and take a ton of time off. That's important to me. What kind of vacations and trips do you want to take? So if you find someone who kind of lives the life you want to live and their business sets them free, what do they do when they have free time? What do I want to be known for? It's an important question. You're defining who you want to be and what you want your business to be about. Who are the people whose lives improve when my business improves? For me, this is a direct result on my family. My wife's life gets better. My kids' lives gets better. Your life gets better. If I do this right, the people who watch my content, as my business improves and as I teach what I'm doing, it benefits you. I have to keep that in mind. Again, this isn't just about some dollar amount, 1.2 million a year. It's about the lives that it impacts when I'm successful, or the lives that it adversely impacts when I'm not successful. What ways do I want to be generous with the money that my business makes? So generosity is a massive value that I have, and a lot of what I do is not just so that I can live a nice, comfy life, although I do and I want to, but it's more than that. It's about being generous at scale because I've been able to produce income at scale, which is not something everybody can do in any job situation. We have a unique ability in online business to be able to make massive windfalls of money on a very regular basis. And because of that, we have a responsibility to be generous with that money. So that's one of my values. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to define the life you want. Second, and this is where the shortcut comes in, because this is where it gets really, really specific. Find the person who's living that life. Find someone who's living your ideal life. If you do the right kind of searching online, you are going to find a person who is living the life you want or close to it. I want to give you some guidelines so that you can think through, as you're looking for that person, what are the things that you're looking for? And again, from my nifty newsletter here. Number one, look for someone in your space or niche who is further along than you. So you just need someone, they don't have to be standing on the mountaintop with their cape flapping in the wind, having achieved and arrived. It's not really what you're looking for. You're looking for someone a few steps ahead of you. So for example, let's say that you're watching this and you're not quite to 6 figures yet, but you want to get to 6 figures. I'd be a great person to follow because I'm not at 7 yet, but I am at multiple 6, so I'm a couple steps ahead of you. Or maybe you're at 6 figures and you're trying to figure out how to break into that multiple 6 figures, which would be more than 200,000 a year. I would be a good person for you to follow as well. But if you're making 7 figures, first of all, you're probably not watching this anyway, so this isn't really for you. But if you're making 7, 8, 9 figures, I'm probably not your guy. So go find someone who is making a little bit more than you, a little further along than you, been doing social more than you, been doing content more than you, been selling in your niche longer than you, and they don't have to be a rock star, they just have to be a few steps further along than you. Number two, don't worry if they're a competitor of yours, rather see them as a collaborator. You have nothing to compete with them about. You are your niche, they are their niche, it's totally fine, you don't have to compete with them. Just look to learn from them. Number three, make sure that they're making enough content that you can actually get a good glimpse into their life and work. Because you're going to need to do some digging and study a lot about them, so they need to be public with who they are, how they think, what they do, how they operate. You just have to be able to see into their life and work. So if they're making content on social, that box is probably checked. Finally, does their life and business look similar to the life and business that you defined? Now, it doesn't have to be exact. There is no person who's going to live the life that you exactly want. It just has to be close enough. The values have to be aligned where it's a starting point. That's what we're going for. And by the way, this doesn't have to all be in one person. It could be in several different people, but for now, we are just trying to be simple and define it by one person. But eventually we'll broaden this out and we'll learn from a lot of people. Don't get obsessed with one person because they'll eventually just let you down. I'm looking at you, Dave Ramsey. Okay, third, once you have found that person, answer 3 simple questions about them. Number 1, what is this person's mindset? Number 2, what is this person's skill set? Number 3, what are this person's habits? Now, I want to give credit to Brad Lee because he's the person who I learned this from. And it's something that when he gave this framework, I was like, I've been doing that for a long time. In fact, I've probably been doing that my whole life and just didn't even realize it. He put a framework around it. So I'm doing that for you, but I want to give him credit because it was his idea. So mindset. What does this person believe about the world, about life that I don't believe, and that if I believed, then I would be able to achieve what they've achieved? Skill set. What does this person know that I don't know? What can this person do that I don't yet know how to do? Define the skills that they have that you lack. And then 3, habits. What does this person actually do? Not just what they believe and not just what they know, but what are they actually doing that maybe I'm not doing? And what are they doing that if I were to start doing that and doing it well, that I would see the same results that they're seeing? So mindset, what do they believe? Skill set, what do they know? Habits, what are they doing? If you have all three of those and you're able to define what that looks like in a person, then you're able to say, okay, mindset, what kind of belief systems need to change for me? How do I need to improve there? Skill set, what I just may have bad information. Is there a course that I need to take? Is there a YouTube video that I need to watch? Is there some coaching that I need to get? And then habits. How am I spending my time? How am I spending my day? What am I doing during my week? Am I doing the things consistently enough to achieve the kind of results that this person has achieved? So for me, 4 or 5 years ago, I was able to sift through all those different people that I was watching and studying and get to a very small select group of people that I really drilled in on and said, what are their mindsets? What are their skill sets? And what are their habits? And I just got to work emulating that, not copying. I'm my own person and I can only be me. I can't be them, nor would I want to be. But I got to work trying to define how can I get similar results to them if I only knew how to believe. Maybe I have limiting beliefs and I don't even know it. And skill sets, maybe there's just information that I don't have, and habits, maybe I'm not doing the things that I need to do. I did that and it really helped me. So I encourage you, first, define the life you want. Second, find the person who's living that life or close to it. And then third, ask those 3 questions. So I wonder what the first step is for you. Have you defined the life you want? If you haven't, then get to work there. Start there with defining and then work your way through the rest of this. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If there's someone who comes to mind that kind of fits this bill for you, who is that person and why? I'd love to hear that in the comments. In the meantime, check out this playlist where I'm going to show you how I started this whole thing. It's called Start Your Online Business. You're going to learn a lot in there. Can't wait to see you in this playlist.